For Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think. Oftentimes in sports, you'll see a situation at the end of a season, particularly in football, where a team needs to win all of their games and then have a bunch of other stuff happen in order for that team to make the playoffs, and sometimes it actually goes the team's way. At the end of the 2021 season, the Raiders were in that situation. They needed to win 6 straight games and then have a bunch of other stuff happen in order to make the playoffs. And miraculously, they did it. But strangely, at the end of the 2022 season, the Raiders found themselves in the same situation. They were 6-9, and they needed to win both of their last 2 games and then have a bunch of other stuff happen, and they would have made the playoffs. Not only didn't they win those 2 games, but they benched their quarterback, lost the 2 games, and then the stuff that they needed to happen didn't happen anyway, so they didn't make the playoffs. But everybody knows that. So why am I talking about it now, so long after the season has ended? Well, because that situation applies to what I'm going to discuss. The AFC quarterbacks that were selected to attend the Pro Bowl festivities this year were Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. Now, Mahomes is going to play in the Super Bowl, so he's automatically exempted from participating in Pro Bowl activities. Josh Allen is injured, so he can't participate in Pro Bowl activities. And Joe Burrow has decided he just doesn't want to participate in the Pro Bowl activities, so they're all pulling themselves out. So the NFL has to go to their next 3 quarterback alternates for the Pro Bowl. Those 3 alternates were Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, and Lamar Jackson. Now, Tagovailoa, Tua, he's injured. Herbert is injured. Lamar is injured. So, just like when the Raiders needed to get into the playoffs last season, a lot of stuff had to happen, but the 3 quarterbacks who were selected to attend the Pro Bowl festivities this year are Trevor Lawrence, Tyler Huntley, who filled in for Lamar Jackson, and Derek Carr. So what that means is that Derek Carr is now a 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback. And I know what you're going to say. He was an alternate. But yeah, he was an alternate a couple of times when he made the Pro Bowl, but it doesn't matter. They don't ask you how you won. They ask you if you won. They don't ask you how you got into the All-Star game. They ask if you got into the All-Star game. And so now Derek Carr is a 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback. And he will be representing the Las Vegas Raiders in whatever festivities the NFL has designed for this year's Pro Bowl. He will be representing the Las Vegas Raiders, and then as soon as the Pro Bowl is over, he will no longer be a member of the Las Vegas Raiders because they intend to either trade him, cut him, waive him, or let him leave on his own, and he'll be playing for someone else next season. Unless they change their minds and go, you know what we have is not that great, so maybe we'll just keep him and go ahead and pay him his money. But it seems as if his tenure with the Raiders is ended, which brings up an interesting conversation. There are some people who are going to say, yeah, Derek Carr needs to leave because he's only taken the Raiders to the playoffs twice. They haven't won a playoff game. And even this season, he was no better than the 8th best quarterback in the AFC. And that may be true. He may be the 8th best quarterback out of 15 in the AFC. But at the same time, he's a 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback. And the Raiders benched him with 2 games left to play in the season when they had a chance to make the playoffs, when all they had to do was win those games and have some other stuff happen. And they benched a 4-time now Pro Bowl quarterback for the sake of playing a quarterback who had never started a game in his NFL career, and he went out and promptly lost those 2 games. So the Raiders are now going to be cutting, trading, waiving, or allowing to leave a 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback. So if you're going to make this decision, you had better get something better. If Lamar Jackson decides to leave Baltimore and the Raiders can land him, you've gotten something better. If Kyler Murray decides to leave Arizona and wants to come to the Raiders, then you've gotten something better. If the Raiders can land Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, then you've gotten something better. If the Raiders end up landing Kirk Cousins or someone like that, then you didn't get something better. If you end up with Gardner Minshew, then you didn't get something better than a 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback who's the career leader in yards, passes completed, and touchdowns for the Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders. You didn't get something better if you end up with Kirk Cousins or Gardner Minshew or someone like that. You didn't get something better if you end up with Baker Mayfield. You didn't get something better if you end up with Matt Stafford or something like that. You didn't get something better if you end up with a first-round draft pick quarterback who may or may not be great, because Baker Mayfield was a first-round draft pick quarterback, and he's struggling to stay with his team. Blake Bortles and Johnny Manziel and Teddy Bridgewater were the quarterbacks who were all drafted before Derek Carr. If you land one of those guys, you're not getting something better, because Derek Carr was the best quarterback in that draft. If you end up with Jameis Winston, then you're not getting something better. If you get Sam Darnold, you're not getting something better. So if you're going to replace a 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback, then you better get something better. Because drafting C.J. Stroud or just tanking one season with Jarrett Stidham and then going after the kid from USC may or may not be something better. When Jacksonville drafted Trevor Lawrence, they improved. When the Chargers drafted Justin Herbert, they improved. The Bengals with Joe Burrow improved. The Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes improved. The Bills with Josh Allen improved. Even the Ravens with Lamar Jackson improved. But the Jets with Sam Darnold did not improve. The Browns with Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield did not improve. The Jets with Mark Sanchez did not improve. We can do this all day. But the Raiders with Derek Carr actually ended their playoff drought in a year when Derek Carr was one of the finalists for the MVP award. So if you're going to get better in the league, you've got to get better when you make these types of decisions. It can't be like when the Raiders refused to sign Khalil Mack to an extension, let him leave to go to Chicago, and then complain that it's hard to find a pass rusher in the league, a good pass rusher in the league, because there's so few of them when you had one. I don't want to hear next season the Raiders say, oh, well, we're struggling, we're losing, we're 3-14 because it's hard to find a really good quarterback in the league, when you let a 4-time Pro Bowl quarterback leave because you don't want to pay him $35 million. That's what I don't want to hear. So Derek Carr will be representing the Raiders in Las Vegas for the Pro Bowl as a member of the Raiders, and then be allowed to leave through trade, waive, or what have you. It seems weird to say that. It seems weird to know that. But when you think about it, isn't it just the Raider way anyway? Remember to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel, and visit my website at the URL in the description below, and follow me on Facebook at Eric J on Sports 1 and on Instagram and Twitter at Eric J on Sports. And for Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think.